So here in the United States, we have a major problem on our hands, and it has to do with immigration, but also with a labor shortage. Today I want to break down what's going on and why this is going to impact every single one of us. Even if you're not in this industry, even if you are not an immigrant, even if you are not on the West Coast or the East Coast, doesn't matter. What matters is you're here in the United States, and what we are about to face is critical. This is actually going to cause a food shortage, and according to multiple farmers, we've already seen what is happening. So I'm going to break this down in just a moment, but first, before I do, all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So look at this right here. This is from Reuters just yesterday. It says, immigration raids leave crops unharvested. California farms at risk. Now, I want to address this article, but first I want to read you a comment. Not a comment, it's a message I sent a friend of mine. Because I've been hearing stories about this for about 2 months now, where immigration, these ICE raids, are causing some workers to not show up to work. We are seeing, if you are looking at some videos, and you might see it on TikTok, and I watch it, every once in a while. There's a couple people on TikTok. They show how much they make by picking strawberries or picking, doing heads of lettuce and watermelons and things like that. And it's interesting because many months ago, or even in 2024, you watch some of these videos and the farm has dozens, so it looks like hundreds of people out there all picking. Now it's much less. But this is the message I sent my friend. I said, hey, I've been hearing stories about farms not having enough workers due to ICE coming around. Are you experiencing anything like this at your farm? Just to give you an idea, he doesn't have it. It's not a massive farm. Okay, it's not like it's hundreds and hundreds of acres, but he has a substantial amount of land. He mainly grows strawberries. That's mainly what he grows. Okay, so it's a pretty labor-intensive job because strawberries, in pretty much all cases, you have to hand pick. Here's what he says, and I quote, "Yeah, the last 2 months have been nothing like I have ever experienced, and honestly, the past few weeks have been the worst ever. I normally have between 15 and 18 workers in the field each day, but this past week I had at most 6. And all my workers have proper paperwork as far as I know. That's what is crazy about all of this. And when I tried to hire a local, he only lasted 3 hours. At lunchtime, he told me he just couldn't do the work. I also noticed back in early May that my trucker that I had for years stopped taking my route, and when I asked about him, the new driver said he switched jobs. So, it isn't just in the fields, the truckers are worried as well." Now, we went back and forth, but here's what was interesting. First off, he hired a local, and when he says a local, he simply means somebody that's born here in the U.S., somebody from around his area, not somebody that's coming up to work. Just somebody around that needed a job. Lasted 3 hours. At lunchtime said, can't do it. Okay? We're seeing that. Many people here in the United States do not want to take on these jobs in the field because it's hard work. It's manual labor. Okay? Bent over for hours and hours picking fruit or vegetables. It's difficult. Most people can't do it, and they don't want to do it. But here's the other thing that he said. He said all of his workers, to his knowledge, have the proper paperwork. Now, I reached out to somebody that said that they kind of are in the same boat. And the reason why they don't want to go and work at a farm, they don't want to work in a field, whatever, is because if they get questioned, they don't want them being in the wrong place to then ICE starts looking at their family. Okay? That's the issue. That they may have proper paperwork, But if ICE comes around their home, then there's multiple people there that do not have the proper paperwork. That's the concern. I want to read this article to you, though. Okay, this one right here from Reuters. Look at this. It says, Lisa Tate is a 6th-generation farmer in Ventura County, California, an area that produces billions of dollars worth of fruit and vegetables each year, much of it handpicked by immigrants in the U.S. illegally. Says Tate knows the farms around her well, and she says she can see with her own eyes how raids carried out by agents from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in the area's fields earlier this month, part of President Donald Trump's migration crackdown, have frightened off workers. And it has. Okay? And again, I'm not here to talk about the immigration side. Okay? I'm here to talk about the food shortage. Okay? Look at this right here. This is a statement from her. She says, in the fields, I would say 70% of the workers are gone. If 70% of your workforce doesn't show up, 70% of your crops doesn't get picked and can go bad in one day. Most Americans don't want to do this work. Most farmers here are barely breaking even. I fear this has created a tipping point where many will go bust. Yeah, many farmers are going to simply go out of business. They cannot sustain this, especially if workers are not showing up. And just to give you an idea, strawberries, for instance, they will go bad quickly. Okay, they will go bad quickly if they don't get picked. As a result, for my friend that used to have a little under 20 workers every single day, now he has 6. They have to go faster. They have to be more efficient because he does not have the workforce that he once did. Again, I'm just talking about strawberries here. There are still so many different fruits and vegetables that have to be harvested quickly or else they go bad. If they go bad, here in the US, we are going to have either a food shortage or we have to rely on other countries to provide the food that we need. Guess what? The United States and Canada, not really getting along too well. The United States and Mexico, we're doing better, but again, does Mexico want to just bail out the US when President Trump is trying to impose tariffs on Mexico? Probably not. And do you think other countries around the world are going to bail us out? Probably not. But again, I bring this to your attention because this is a tipping point. And we've heard about this before. This is also one of the reasons why the Trump administration said that they weren't going to go after farmers and they weren't going to go after the hotels and restaurant industry as far as ICE is concerned, because they know that this is a huge tipping point. If we go after, or ICE goes after all the different farms, okay, what you're going to see is the food is not going to be harvested. It will go bad before anything, and then we have no food here in the U.S. Or we have a shortage, which means the price of food, like fruits and vegetables, goes through the roof. That is part of the concern, which then we have additional inflation, and that creates a whole nother problem. So again, I'm bringing this to your attention because the issue right now is that immigration is causing concerns for these farmers. And if this continues, which it is expected, and again, I understand what the Trump administration is doing, but I also understand that if we do not have thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people here in the United States that are here illegally working in the agriculture industry, we do not have the food that we need. That's part of the problem. So again, there are some pros and cons to every single situation. So as we get more information on this, I promise I'll bring you all the latest news and updates. But as of today, that is what we know. This situation is likely going to get worse before it gets better. So just be prepared, because that is coming very soon.